The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. From the heart of Broadway in historic downtown Cape Girardeau, this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted.
It's Wednesday, June 19th, and you are tuned in to Pro Wrestling Unscripted here on the Podzilla 1985 network. What's up, guys? My name is Shannon Young, leader of the Cocky Boys. With me tonight, the five-star man, Asa Gray.
Oh, I genuinely thought you were going to do like a twist.
I was, but I changed it. But I decided not to.
Bless you, my child.
Different show. We got Allie A. Bear.
Hello.
And of course, we got the Big D, Dalton Anthony.
Hey, you changed my name for the Cocky Boys.
No, you're just. The good thing about that is you can just stay the Big D. It doesn't have to change.
I mean, we should probably switch it make it accurate.
Medium D.
The subpar D.
Average D.
Well, no, it's a wrestling show, so it's got to be wrestling related. So like
the undercard D.
Yeah, undercard D. The undercard, but the D on the undercard is capitalized.
Now, if you just really quick, if you're wondering what in the hell are they talking about with the Cocky Boys, well, one, if you have to ask about the Cocky Boys, you don't know about the Cocky Boys. But if you want to know a little bit more, patreon.com/Podzilla1985, $1. You can subscribe and get access to what is quite possibly the greatest pre-show we've ever done.
So it's the pre-show. So you get not only that, it's not just the one pre-show. Like you get every pre-show that we've ever done.
Yeah.
But the one we did just record is probably hands down the best one that's ever happened.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this now. On the Facebook page or on the Facebook post where we post this episode, I'm going to need our patrons to verify in the comments
that it was the best.
That this was, because they can attest that this was
the best.
A special kind of nutso.
If you can do that, and if you're genuine about it, that does guarantee us to look at your application into the Cocky Boys, for the records. Now, it doesn't guarantee that you get in, but we will take a look at it. We have fun here on the show, ladies and gentlemen, and it's important to have fun because it has been a very sad day. And like you said, Asa, when you were doing CCW Live and you had to transition, now it's time for us to transition into serious talk from having fun. First off, we want to mention that Psycho from CCW, who we had met, probably fourth or fifth show?
Somewhere in there.
Wasn't that far back?
Very, very early.
Yeah, he was one of the earliest people here with CCW. Longtime friend of guys like Jason Wells and Austin Lane and Lee Montgomery. Jackson especially. Yeah, guys like that. He passed away today. I believe it was today.
It was today.
At least that's when we found out.
And that's what I've seen, there's someone made the graphic that had his from his birthday, but it went to today. So
gotcha.
I think it was this morning.
Unfortunately, it passed away. We're not 100% sure what was the cause. He did have health problems. Either way, very, very tragic, and our hearts go out to everyone affected by it. And this one is personal because we have another unfortunate passing that we're going to talk about here in a second. And it's sad whenever anyone passes away, and I feel it. I think we all feel it. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter, everyone's got family, everyone's loved, and even if we don't know them personally, it's a very sad moment. But this one we did know personally, and we had met Psycho, and he was just the nicest guy in the world. Didn't get to meet him as much as we would have liked to, just kind of sporadically, mostly through Jason and CCW, but he did seem like just a very, very cool guy. So we are sad to announce that Psycho has passed away, and there will be a memorial show this Saturday.
Well,
it's kind of turned into a partial.
It's going to Inferno 3 is going to be. It's dedicated to it.
Dedicated
it's not like
to,
a full on. I'm sure. Don't get me wrong. For the amount of outpouring of support that I've seen.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
I'm
Absolutely.
willing to bet that there will be some sort of dedicated standalone memorial show down the line. But we are dedicating, and when I say we, but CCW is dedicating Inferno 3 to Donald and his family, and then to Donald, and there will be a raffle and a silent auction. Right. And the proceeds of that will go to his family to help cover the funeral expenses. And
we encourage everyone to go out and see that. One of the posters, if you guys keep up with me on Facebook, one of the posters that I designed for Inferno, we're going to do a special one where it's going to be signed by all the talent. I'm going to try to get everybody that we can, literally from the wrestlers to commentary to production. Anyone we can get our hands on. This is going to be the biggest CCW family poster, basically, and we're going to auction that off during the silent auction.
Good idea. We need to get a silver paint pen for that.
Yes, agreed. 100%. He's absolutely right. That's what I was thinking. Silver. Yeah. That's true. So yeah, that'll be this Saturday. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a 10-bell salute, obviously, and it just come out and see the show. If you were coming out anyway, absolutely, but we are going to do some stuff for him and his family, so that is going to be very cool. And again, we are sad to announce that former CCW star and genuinely beloved person from everything I've seen.
Yeah, there's been
Psycho's passed away.
Like I said, it's been a amazing just outpouring of support, and a lot of people talking about just how nice he was.
I think he was like our first wrestler that didn't know us, came up and did something cool whenever it was the Brandon Austin match. He came up and handed us the baby for a second.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that was the October show. Or no, September show that year, which would have been 2016.
Yeah, it was first year.
Something like that, yeah.
What was like Ali said, there's a picture of us with Psycho where was he handing us the baby?
No,
I mean, he's got it held up.
He has the baby, and he also has a fork.
There it is, the fork.
The
yeah.
fork.
Yeah, Psycho was cool, man. I remember when Jason said he was bringing him in, I started looking up all the Psycho videos, and I was like, okay, he genuinely looks like a Psycho. And then when he came into CCW,
sweetest dude.
But he did the character so well. Like, there's something to be said about the art of character in professional wrestling, and he was so good at it. And then you combine that with him being seemingly a really genuinely nice guy. It's just a real sad loss for wrestling and for our family, for our wrestling family in particular. In other tragic news today, the ICW champion Adrian Lionheart McCullum also passed away, and I believe he was 36.
He was a younger guy.
I want to say, yeah, he was really, really young. We also don't know what happened to him.
Because he had one of the tributes that I saw on Twitter today mentioned they were there when he broke his neck and promised to keep working and to come back to it and get better than ever, and he did. Eventually, he was the actual heavyweight champion for ICW, which is that for those of you who aren't aware, that's the promotion that Drew McIntyre kind of reinvented himself in before coming over and taking Impact by storm and then returning to WWE.
Yeah, and we'll of course keep the story updated as we find out more. Just real sad day for wrestling. Yeah, like a double whammy. We'll keep you updated. We absolutely will.
It genuinely was a thing of I saw the posts about Psycho, and then 2-3 hours later, I saw Twitter. I saw just that started to kind of expand about him as well, and it's just holy crap, man.
Yeah. One of those
which we're a year removed from Vader passing too. I think. I think it was yesterday. Was because
I've seen a lot of those anniversaries for that as well.
Yeah, it's sad. I've said it a million times with professional wrestling. People always call it a fraternity, and sometimes it very much does feel like that. Everyone's close, even if you don't know somebody as well. The wrestling community kind of bands together in tragedy in ways that I've never seen any other community band together, and I am proud of that. I always say that the worst part of wrestling is the fans, and sometimes I still feel that way because there are some things that I truly disagree with and I think are heinous. But I cannot deny that when the chips are down, something bad happens. The wrestling community, for the most part, does come together and does some pretty sweet things and amazing things. So we'll keep you updated on that story. Moving on from that, real quick announcement. I do want to say that Podzilla 1985 is now on Spotify. I know that's a weird transition into something a little bit happier, but this is something that we were proud of today, and I think it's nice to talk about some good things that go along with all this bad stuff today. You can now find Podzilla 1985 on Spotify. You can add it to your rotation. It's a new way to listen to us. If you hate using Podbean, if you don't use iTunes, stuff like that, we are on Spotify. So pass that along to your friends. We would appreciate it, and we hope that if this is your first time listening, if you are from Spotify and you found us, maybe you're looking for a wrestling podcast or something, welcome to the show. My name is Shannon. That's Asa, Allie, Dalton, as we said at the beginning, and we hope you like us.
Also, if you are one of those people who already listens to us, like so many of you do, even if you don't plan on listening to us through Spotify, if you go and follow us
that would
on
help.
Spotify, that helps a lot. That kind of there's a lot of the background metrics of where we get positioned and if we get featured somewhere.
Right.
So that definitely helps.
We've already seen a significant spike in listens today from I'm guessing us jumping on Spotify, and that's great. I hope you guys, again, if this is your first time tuning in, it's not usually this downbeat. We're usually pretty happy people, but it's just been a sad day. But we hope you stick around. We hope you enjoy the show. Let's move on on to AEW news. That's All Elite Wrestling. AEW not allowing. I always want to say Dean Ambrose. I need to get into the habit of saying Jon Moxley.
It's the same thing that happened to me, except it was worse. And I look forward to this in 6 years, whenever it finally comes full circle. Of
he's Dean Ambrose again.
I couldn't stop calling him Drew McIntyre.
Oh,
and then right as I finally got the hook in of Drew Galloway signing to NXT, Drew McIntyre. And then I kept calling him Drew Galloway on NXT.
So much work gone, washed down the drain.
All of that effort.
But Jon Moxley, almost said Dean Ambrose again. Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, and Kenny Omega, they're not being allowed to work New Japan Pro Wrestling in the States. And is that going to be a problem?
I mean, no.
It's the first block of the G1, which kind of sucks, but it's literally the first round of matches.
And it's in Dallas. So it's actually in the number one comment that I kept seeing pop up on Twitter and Reddit was the United States champion is not allowed to compete in the United States.
Well, wasn't that one of the things Moxley said specifically in that interview was how he wanted to be in the G1?
Well, yeah, and he's in the G1. He's just not competing in the first block of matches.
Oh, okay. Is it because it's in the United States?
Yeah, because it's taking place in Dallas.
I got you.
Which that's going to be they're in a huge venue, and I got to think that's going to be a big hit to the more casual independent wrestling fan who may not, be super in on New Japan, but would go to see Jon Moxley.
Yeah. I'm really hoping Andy goes so I can just get pictures from it.
But I mean, it makes sense because there was I don't remember if it was Tony Khan that commented on it, but someone within AEW kind of mentioned we tried to, have a working relationship with New Japan, but they wanted to keep their relationship with Ring of Honor. So they denied that. So why wouldn't you, if New Japan's going to treat AEW like a competitor, why wouldn't AEW do the same thing? So, I mean, it's one of those things where hopefully down the line they come to an agreement and these things can happen. Yeah. But for right now, it very much seems like, Moxley can compete in Japan. They're allowing Chris Jericho to compete in Japan. Kenny Omega would probably be able to, depending on what his deal is. But they're just not going to... If New Japan runs shows in the States, they won't
Is Omega in the G1 this year?
No, Omega's not. Hasn't been... I'm just saying, hypothetically, if they were... If New Japan wanted to use Kenny Omega, they could be... he might have a similar deal as Jericho and...
Yeah, because I don't think Omega's had a match in
He has done nothing with New Japan...
since he lost the belt at Kingdom?
Something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, no... And it's one of those things it's one of those be it's a bummer they're not letting them... do that, but in hindsight, looking at it, they're still letting them compete in New Japan. It's just not in the States, which makes sense because why are you going to have your guys in the country that you were going to run in primarily work other companies?
It's your market.
Yeah. So I mean that makes sense. It's a bummer because I'm willing to say that if New Japan was able to say that Moxley's wrestling somebody in the first block. It might not be the reason they'd sell out a venue in Dallas, but it'd be a big reason that they would sell out in Dallas.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those, you need, as great as the New Japan stars are, if you don't have somebody in there that the crowd that want to see, that they know, it's kind of not
familiarity.
Yeah.
This brings us to a new segment on the show called, and this is sponsored by CockyBoys.com. Allie,
never go to cockyboys.com. You can't just float that out there as a joke. Also, you're giving away all the pre-show material. I don't appreciate it.
That's true. Allie, if you had to pick two of the three to see on CockyBoys.com, who would it be? I'm trying to find new ways to bring you into the show because I know you don't get to keep up with as much as we do. So I thought this would be a good way.
Wait, what are her choices?
It's Moxley, Jericho, and Ambrose. You have to pick two to see on the website.
Moxley, Jericho, and Ambrose? You mean Moxley, Omega, and Jericho?
That's what I meant. You got to pick two.
Moxley and Omega.
Oh, she doesn't like that.
I guess she's an ageist. Yeah. Well,
Don't I roll with that?
I heard bad things about your boyfriend.
Hey, anyway, about wrestling.
That was about wrestling.
Fun fact, Moxley's the first former WWE champion to appear in the G1 since Ric Flair.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's only the second ever.
When did Flair do it? I'm assuming 80s?
I have no idea.
90s?
I don't know. That was the headline from Reddit I saw that I thought was a fun fact.
It would probably be 80s, yeah. No, it's definitely 80s.
Was this before he was in WWF? Well, I guess it didn't really say, did it?
Well, post WWE, because he's the former
Well, then it would have to be 90s.
Oh yeah. I guess if you're doing it post, then
if it's post WWE where he's champion, it'd have to be 90s.
If I can find when it was.
While you're doing that, this is great news for some, terrible news for others. All Out, the next AEW big show, because they have Fyter Fest coming up.
They have Fyter Fest. They have another show in July, but it looks like those shows are going to be free with Bleacher Report Live.
Right. And this is their next big show.
This is their SummerSlam.
After Double or Nothing. Yeah, All Out. And it's sold out in 15 minutes.
Sold out quicker than All In did.
So congratulations to Cody and the guys once again.
Equal parts, like, can, depending on your perspective, can be surprising, but also can be very, like, unsurprising. Because if, on the one hand, okay, well, we've seen what they've done. We've All In is now part of AEW, or All Out, is part of AEW, as where All In there was no country or no company affiliation.
Yeah, you had Ring of Honor guys, you had New Japan guys.
Unsigned guys, like, just stuff from everywhere, whereas now this is an official AEW show. But at the same time, you saw how good All In was, how good Double or Nothing was. Yeah. So, of course, people would be excited for that.
Now, my question about this is, how much of this do you think is Scalper? Because All In did so well that Scalper saw an opportunity, and I don't think it would be insulting to what they've accomplished to say that Scalpers are the reason they sold out so quickly. And I'm not saying that, but how much of it do you think is kind of on the down?
100 to 200 tickets.
You think it's that small?
I mean, that's how much it was. Because if we can all remember how pissed off I was last year.
I do remember
about not being able to get All In tickets. And I was saying fuck Scalpers, and then out of the mouths of Babe and other varmints.
Sorry, I'm getting a message from Spotify. They're telling you to please watch the language.
Ric Flair was in the 1995 G1 tournament.
That makes sense.
And there's
Just go on, sorry, it's fine. Spotify. I don't even have an earpiece on.
Oh, well, dang. X-Pac said, like, if you're gonna say that Scalpers are the reason you didn't get a ticket, whenever there was maybe 100 tickets on StubHub throughout the entire 100 to 200, like, that's not a really valid
But
point.
do you think it's worse this time seeing the success of the first
Apparently
one?
it is, like, because people were already posting, like, links to
really?
blocks of StubHub tickets. I don't think it may not be, like, much worse, but I think there's a little bit more of a scout, because again, like, no one knew how quickly those All In tickets were going to go.
Right.
Oh, so yeah.
So scalpers aren't going to necessarily really try to sit and get as many of those as they can because they don't know if they would even be able to move them. Yeah. Whereas now you have more of a proven commodity.
The cheapest seat was $35. The most expensive seat was $195.
I'm looking at it right now, and that's August 31st, right? Is that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Looks like the cheapest seat that they have on StubHub right now is $133 for Upper Deck.
Yep, which is a $35 ticket.
Very, very top. And it goes to, they seem to be hovering in the 100 to 200 range.
So not egregious, but again, whenever...
Like, it's egregious by existence.
It goes to $848.
Never mind.
Yeah, that's probably like a ringside, which... By existence only, it's egregious. And if you were one, like, because there's a difference between, hey, I picked up these tickets because I'm hoping I can go. Turns out I can't. I need to at least try to recoup my losses. Mm-hmm. But to sit and to purposely buy tickets to an event that you have no intention of going to and are strictly trying to profit off of someone else's work and show, you can go fuck yourself.
There was, when the PlayStation 4 came out, I'll never forget I saw this. On eBay, because PlayStation 4s were obviously extremely hard to get a hold of when they came out. There was a kid, he's probably like 15, 16, and he's holding a sign with PlayStation 4s in front of him. He holds a sign that said, "I waited in the cold to get a PlayStation 4 so I could sell it to you." And he's selling them for like $700-800. And I thought, no, fuck you. You just stole it from someone who was there, who legitimately was trying to get it for their child or something. And now they have to pay you $700 so their kid isn't disappointed at Christmas. That's terrible. That's
one of my favorite internet videos of the news story. It was one of the iPhones. It might have been the first iPhone. I don't remember. But the news is there to show the people waiting in line. And this lady goes up to the kid who'd been he's number one in line at the Apple store. He'd been there for like 6 weeks, just hadn't eaten, hadn't slept, nothing, like fighting off people trying to take a spot.
iPhone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the $1,000 stand that comes with it, it doesn't come with it. Excuse me. And this lady comes up and offers him like an idiotic amount of money because she planned on buying like 15 and she was going to resell them. And she was so proud of herself. And so, oh yeah, no, look, this is all the cash I have. This is and I'm going to buy them all. And so he's like, okay, yeah, I will take a free phone plus more money. Cause that's how much money she gave him.
Yeah.
Like plus more for you to take my spot. Sure. She gets inside, tries to buy all the phones, and they say limit like one per customer.
Wah, wah.
The
only time I've ever done that, I actually almost did it once when the Wii U came out. my initial plan was to buy a Wii U because I remember how hard the Wiis were to get. I was going to buy it and I was going to resell it. Well, I bought it and I wasn't going to sell it for much. It was going to be like 300, 400. I was going to make a profit on it. It's the only time I've ever thought about doing it. And I get it in my possession.
The worst system.
Well, hear me out because I got it in my possession. I'm holding it. I'm looking at the box and I couldn't help it. I just tore into it and I kept it for myself. Like, I can't. And I hugged Nintendo.
Very similar situation happened this week. The Macho Man, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figure came out.
Oh, yeah.
And it sold out in an hour and a half. Like, all of the pre-sales sold out. And then people started getting emails saying, your order's on standby right now because we oversold them. And then, of course, like, I'm in so many figure pages, people are like, yeah, I bought 8 of them.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, go fuck yourself. Because it was a $40 figure. Because it cost, so I got in, like, right when they hit. So I'm pretty sure I'm getting mine. God, I hope so.
Because you got, like,
I got one.
You were wanting to do 2, but because you wanted it genuinely because the packaging is interesting. Like, it's a different type of packaging. So you want one out to show, but then you would also want one just for the packaging.
I am perfectly cool with people buying 2 of the same figure.
No, yeah, because but again, you're not buying 2 of the same figure because you distinctly only plan on taking that second figure and flipping it for money.
Yeah, but yeah, so because I was getting updates from another person trying to buy them, and he was just like, "Well, I bought a couple." And then they knocked my order down in half, and then they said, your order's on standby. And that was like an hour and a half into it going on sale.
When do you know when you're going to find out about it?
Mine still says it's processing. But like it went up at 11 in the morning, and I got in at 10:55.
Okay.
Because they say it opens, but it opens a little bit early. And like apparently the site went down.
Sounds about right.
After I did mine.
Which apparently, like, All Out didn't have that problem. Like, they were ready for it because they remembered what happened at All In. And
that was a nightmare.
Yeah, so they were way more prepared for it.
I was talking to Tyler about it, and he was like, are you going to try to get tickets? And I was like, I'm going to wait for people to not sell. I'm going to wait for them to stop selling out as much. And then I'll get a ticket to an AEW show.
That sounds about right.
Man, I was thinking back to, we just had an anniversary for going to Money in the Bank. Was it 2 years ago at this point or 1 year?
Yeah, it was a couple days ago because I had the Jake is my spirit animal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember really liking going to the show, but as I looked at the pictures, I realized, like, it's cool to be there, but unless you can get decent enough tickets, like being up in the high altitude areas and stuff, I would almost rather watch it on TV. I really would, you know?
It depends on the show.
It depends on the show. All Elite, I could get going to it now, but whenever they start running like weekly shows and stuff like that.
Like next year.
Yeah, it's gonna calm down.
Oh, when they go to St. Louis, I'm going.
Yeah. Are they coming to St. Louis?
That they will eventually.
I mean, yeah, you got to think that they probably, like, that's a
St. Louis is
good
a
enough
hotbed
market.
of wrestling.
Yeah, it's a good enough market. You could.
And then the Cocky Boys make their debut.
Patreon.com/Podzilla1985, $1.
You gotta hear it. This makes me sad because
don't want to see it.
I am a fan of this particular person. I really am. Or maybe this is good. I don't know. Impact has released Scarlett Bordeaux.
I think this is good for her.
Did she want out of her contract?
That was the rumor for the longest time. There was also a story that broke. I don't remember if it was this week or last week, but there was a report that because for the longest time, because like Killer Cross also wanted out of his contract. Scarlett Bordeaux, had asked for her release. Build the Wall, USA. I don't know.
Stop it. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
No, again, you should shame me for
because they're a couple. Killer Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux.
But I think it was, and I could be getting some of these details wrong, so I apologize. But apparently, Killer Cross did, like, in an interview, mentioned that Scarlett Bordeaux has a second job because she has to. She was not making enough money at Impact to support herself. Like, she was living at home with her mom and, like, was working a second job out of necessity.
That's insane.
But then you have people like Jordan Grace, who apparently has a second job, but it's because she genuinely loves it. And, like, she makes, like, that's her money job. And then she wrestles because she loves to wrestle.
Right.
But she also loves, like, whatever her, main job is.
Yeah.
So, and it's one of those things, it's like, man, you are on a, it's Impact Wrestling. The arguably, number 2, number 3, like,
Top 5 at
you
least.
are on cable, like, you have a TV deal.
And you're a pretty big part of it.
Yeah, and you're not paying your talent a livable wage.
Right.
So it's like, I think it's good for her because, now is the best time ever to make money on independent wrestling. Especially when you've had that kind of platform, which she's already been doing indie dates. Like for a while, she was doing, was it AAW, where she was part of the Besties?
Yeah,
where they were doing a story with her and Vega and like Fitchett getting jealous and stuff. So
Yeah.
It's also a good time if she is interested in going to WWE. You got to think that they're looking to sign these hot talents that could go to AEW first.
Yeah.
They're going to get the drop on them. And I've said Scarlett Bordeaux is actually legitimately one of my favorite women in wrestling. She's one of my favorites in wrestling at all because I love, she is clearly a gorgeous woman and she does sex appeal right, but the way she works it into her character and still with the ability to wrestle and stuff like that, she's very unique.
Yeah,
she has a unique look. I love her name. I know that's, a name is important. And Scarlett Bordeaux is such a cool name. Will she get to keep that name, I wonder? Because that could very much be an Impact name.
I say.
I do not know enough about.
No, it can't be just an Impact thing because she's using it on indies. Like,
yeah, but I mean, people who make appearances that are already signed, like they use their name, like that's just the name that they perform as.
Yeah, and I mean, like especially on the indies with CCW alone, we've seen people come in using, if not their former name exactly, hints at it. So
well, and even like I mean, Ethan Page, like he was All Ego Ethan Page. So and he signed to Impact.
Yeah, but he's still signed to Impact.
So no, that's what I mean.
It's not like he got released.
His point was she was wrestling on the independent, like she was performing on the independents
saying,
while she was signed.
We're on the same page.
Yeah,
the same Ethan Page. So where do you think Scarlett Bordeaux ends up?
Wherever she wants.
Do you think she'll go All Elite or WWE, or do you think she'll stay on the indies?
I don't know. Like clearly none of us know her, but I don't know that much about her.
You think maybe wherever Killer Cross goes?
There was
Killer Cross.
Is
it Cross?
Yeah, it's Cross.
Okay.
There was a picture that I didn't delve into the comics to see like when it was taken, but there was a picture of her at Seth Rollins' wrestling school. But that could have been like an older picture.
Right.
So I don't know. But no, I could say like she is one of those talents she has a great grasp on who her character is.
Yes.
Solid hand in the ring. Like you said, has great sex appeal and she uses it smartly. So it's just one of those things of, I genuinely could see her going wherever she wants to go. She could go the Joey Ryan route where she sticks to the independent wrestling and does that circuit. She could, I would be surprised if there wasn't at least a passing interest in her by AEW
and WWE for that matter.
I was getting there, and like WWE seems to be willing, especially like NXT, whichever branch of NXT seems to be hell-bent on signing anything in wrestling with a name and a pulse, if not for the fact to keep them, take them off the board
elsewhere. Yeah. Which again, that's great for the wrestlers right now. So we'll see where Scarlett Bordeaux ends up.
I mean, it can be. But
it can be, yeah.
It's one of those that if you're just signing people to sign people, you start having the WCW thing where Savage's brother was collecting a check.
Okay, great for your bank account, but maybe not great for you as a
performer.
It's
that thing of, do you want to, like, are you happy with just having, who did the interview where they were talking about like some of the guys are just happy to see a WWE on their check.
Yeah.
Oh God, I know.
But you know what interview? It was a podcast. It was like a Jericho podcast, I think.
It might have been,
or it might have been Stone Cold podcast.
But I say it might have been Cody. It might have been.
I think it was Cody.
I think it was Cody.
Cody who mentioned like there are some people who are just happy seeing WWE on their paycheck, and there is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But there are people who despite there's a rumor that came out today, or a report. I shouldn't say rumor. It should report that Mike and Maria Kanellis both just signed multi-year deals with WWE.
And they were one of the ones that everybody was saying
super vocal about.
They're definitely
they're
gone.
Going straight to AEW. They're gone. They've asked for their release 6 times since Thursday, and
I'm starting to think the internet doesn't know everything.
Yeah. And so we take all the news from those people and talk about it.
Regurgitate it up for you guys.
Exactly.
Lars Sullivan potentially injured.
Yes, there was supposed to be a match that took place last week's SmackDown of him versus Matt Hardy. That got scrapped because he had like a slight knee issue so they skipped it, but apparently that could be worse than what they thought. Yeah, I think they either said that they wouldn't know until he got an MRI or he had an MRI scheduled, but it's just one of those things, like this is kind of early story. They haven't made a lot of announcements like that, which isn't surprising because unless there is something that happens like on TV and it's to the point where the match is stopped, WWE kind of plays those injuries pretty close to the chest until they're ready to announce something.
Right.
So
it's unfortunate because we are right in the genesis of his career, like of his of him coming up again. I am not personally a fan of Lars Sullivan, not because of the comments he made. That's one thing. It's whatever. Everyone, if I said let's forgive Hulk Hogan, I got to say it for everybody who makes a genuine effort. And I haven't seen anything from Lars Sullivan that said he hasn't made a genuine effort.
There was people saying that he was making a genuine effort.
Exactly.
Because apparently part of it is like, yes, this wasn't while he was like, he wasn't making those comments while he was at NXT. Like this was,
This
years
was
before he
young
got
college
signed.
guy.
And then him, I think it was Titus O'Neil did an interview.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the people who's been kind of like, no, he's like, he came up to me and apologized personally and like asked how he could get better. But apparently part of it was when he did get signed to NXT and he was around all of these different people, like that's what totally like
Anxious. The anxiety.
I was going to, point out that it changed his perspective like totally from where he had already kind of grown as a person to where like now he kind of realized just how wrong that he had been.
Yeah.
It still ties into mine too, though. And I mean that because if I ever made some dumbass statements, and I have, but if I ever made stupid statements about something in particular, and then I was a part more of that, even if I had changed my ways and I knew it existed, I would be anxious.
Because that was part of the that was one of the rumors of whenever he went home from having the panic attacks. Is that part of that anxiety was not only I am being put on, I'm going to have a WrestleMania feud with John Cena as my first thing.
Yeah.
To also like knowing that was out there and people did know about it and that could resurface and
because
that kind
everything you do on the internet will come back and haunt you someday. This show has pretty much eliminated all of us from serving in government.
Yes.
Which well,
Sweet.
Which is a
dick.
real bummer for me
yeah.
because I got plans, y'all.
Well, I got some bad news, y'all.
Who talking about? Oh, bitch, you cooking? So Matt and Reby Hardy announced a new pregnancy.
Yes.
And congratulations to them. I'm also not a fan. I'm not always a fan of Matt and Reby Hardy.
House Hardy grows.
Social media is not kind to them. Or they are not kind to social media. It's one or the other.
She is not kind on social media.
She is not. I do not care for her social media presence at all. That's all. I don't know her personally.
Yeah.
She could be the sweetest woman in the world. I love the stuff that she does on camera with like House Hardy.
There you go.
Spoiler.
My bad. But congratulations to them. Another mouth to feed.
I mean, I don't think
That was the shittiest way to say it.
I don't think that's an issue for them.
For Big Money Matt.
Yeah, his money.
Ashley Mazzaro.
That might just come out as like it's just a stack of money.
The baby comes out wrapped in money.
Mm-hmm. Like it's swathed in
Swaddled in
$100
money.
bills.
Jesus Christ.
They use hundreds for toilet paper, and no, I forget how it goes. It's a joke, though. Ashley Mazzaro, speaking of money, her daughter's education, the GoFundMe for it, has reached $100,000, and that's great.
It reached its goal of $100,000 and passed that mark too.
And
awesome.
Yeah.
The suck, and we're all congratulating, and that is a great thing. But the suckiest part about it is no amount of money will give her back what she really wants.
Oh no,
and
of
that
course
is
not.
The saddest thing in the world.
Yeah, like, and I don't think anyone's trying to make that
They're
argument,
not.
but this is a great
This is good for her future.
It is a great outcome of what is undeniably a horrific situation.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it's the silver lining to just the darkest timeline. I feel so bad for her. I don't know her at all, but I feel so bad for her, and I really hope that this helps her in her life in one way or another. Man.
Yeah, it was like 2,800 people or something like that came out to raise that money. So
this is incredibly sad. Yeah.
But it is a great thing to come from it and kind of a.
And again, I said earlier, whenever something bad happens, the wrestling community comes together. People do such nice things for each other. Whether it's this or what we're doing with Psycho this weekend, or you remember when Kamala needed surgery and fans
say Jake the Snake
came together. Jake the Snake Roberts, they're
Perry Saturn, like they saved him from getting from losing his house.
It's a great community. It can be a great community. It is both it's like Reddit. It's the best and worst of everything.
I think it was...
What? Is it Cocky Boys?
No.
There was someone I was talking... there was some interaction I had on Twitter because they were talking about wrestling fans. It's like, yeah, it can either be the best or the worst part. Like, I didn't put it on there, but on the opposite end of that spectrum, you have... It was Scarlett Bordeaux at AAA.
Oh,
a fan actively grabbed her from behind and picked her up, and she was so in the moment she didn't really realize it. One of the other workers had to pull her away from him. And then, but looking at it, it was just
it was gross.
And it was at that same show. I can't remember who it was, but a lady ran over and slapped one of the male competitors' asses, and just they were rowdy.
I'm always afraid especially when I see females in the wrestling business go out to the ring, and WWE especially, and they go over to the crowd and they start hugging people and they're like high-fiving, I'm always worried that someone's going to be a dick and they're going to grab their breasts or something like that. And occasionally they have.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
So, and it's usually like smaller kids and stuff, or like teenagers, which doesn't make it better. But wasn't it Alexa?
Are you gonna tell me my favorite one right now?
Was it Alexa Bliss?
Whenever Nia Jax was holding her over like her shoulder, and this like 10-year-old slapped Alexa Bliss on the ass. And Nia was about to kill somebody.
With Alexa, she was just going to swing her like a bat.
Yeah, she's going to be like, oh, you touched her, she's going to touch you. But then she saw it was a kid and then turned around and immediately lost her shit laughing.
I'm lucky
because they are best friends, so it's one of those like go in the back like, yeah, kind of a dick move, but it was a 10-year-old just slapped you on the ass.
I'm sure Alexa, as soon as she hit backstage, she said, "Did someone slap my ass out there?" Yeah, it was a wee one. I'm lucky enough that I've never had anybody grab me sexually in wrestling. The only thing I've had is a little girl grab me by the hair once. I think she was going to tear me apart. She was going to wail on my face.
I had somebody grab my elbow one time.
Yeah,
in Indiana.
It's in Indiana.
Wrestled in Indiana once. Oh yeah, no, it was almost a fight.
Oh, okay. Tony Schiavone, our old friend Tony Schiavone, butts of the seats.
That wasn't his call. He made it.
He was a company man.
Yeah.
It's a company. I would have done the same thing. Tony Schiavone is coming back to broadcasting. He's going to be joining MLW this summer.
Again, he's commentated for MLW before.
I always felt like Tony Schiavone, we always talk about how Jim Ross is the greatest, play-by-play man ever. And I agree. Yeah. Anything he does now, even though he's lost a step or two, it doesn't negate everything he did for like 10 years where he was just perfect.
Yeah. Longer than that.
In WWE, at least.
Okay.
Because not counting his WCW and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think Tony Schiavone has always been my second favorite. More so than Michael Cole. More so than, Vince McMahon or Eric Bischoff. Schiavone was really good. And what I loved about Schiavone was back when WCW started to tank, all the video clips of like him and Bobby Heenan when they had to put over something stupid or something dumb was happening, the looks on their faces, there's the disappointment and disgust. Like they're trying to hide it, but the camera catches it. And Schiavone was always my favorite when he was showed disgust. Him and Bobby Heenan both. I loved them as a team. I that's probably my second or third favorite commentary team of all time was Heenan and Schiavone. I enjoyed them. It wasn't as good as Vince and or Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, obviously, or Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, but they were solid. They were solid. So I'm excited about this.
I don't know if they're completely replacing the table, but they are, like, Cornette is the one that's not going to be there anymore, which I will be willing to put $100 and say it has absolutely nothing to do with that podcast, just because they kept him around after.
Which podcast?
The one where he was calling Sonny Kiss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because, like, did you see what happened at the last MLW show?
I saw Sami Callihan like spit on him.
Yeah. So he comes out and just spits on him and then puts it on Twitter like on 3 different times and said, no regrets. But apparently that was going to be his last show at MLW because they caused like $3,000 worth of damage to the venue.
I never mentioned how I'm not a big fan of Sami Callihan.
Whenever he spit on Jim Cornette, I was a big fan of Sami Callihan.
So
that's crass.
You're right, it is.
Grown man, David.
So is calling somebody a transvestite 27 times on a podcast.
Which, what strikes me as funny about that, and I've never really spoken out about it because I think that's shitty. But like for the people that were saying like how homophobic he was and stuff like that, and they really portrayed him as like a backwoods.
He's not. No,
he's super liberal.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think, and like we talked about it off the air, I think that was more of he was using a term that he didn't really realize you're not supposed to use anymore.
Like whenever I would say midget, and like legitimately, I did not know midget, and I apologize, was such an offensive term to little people. But that.
I think it's one of those things where it's just like he's using outdated, like he was just using outdated language. He wasn't using the correct language, but I also think that he wasn't throwing that around in a way that he clearly meant it as an insult.
Yeah. So did I tell you his follow up on the next week's podcast about that? So he apologized to Sonny Kiss and his boyfriend. But it was that kind of apology that was super backhanded
because he's only apologizing because he knew he had to.
Well, no, he said I apologize that I hurt your feeling, but if you're gonna be in wrestling, you should probably have thicker skin.
Oh,
yeah.
Did he actually say that?
No, he definitely said it just like that.
He didn't hear the podcast. He wouldn't know.
I'm clarifying.
Because he definitely said it just like that. So it's one of those like...
Well, that's what I was going to say. I hate that he doubled down on it. You know what I mean?
And that was the other thing is it's like on Twitter when people were like... He was just retweeting people who were like echoing him and his thoughts on Joey Ryan.
Yeah.
which just like, again, it was just like, oh, he's no draw wrestler. And it's like, those are empirically provably wrong. Like but it's, I don't know. He didn't care. It was just.
Yeah. He is who he is.
About the storm real good.
Yeah. So
really.
But also just real quick there is a lot of speculation about that whole $2,700 of damage Sami Callihan thing.
Oh, I just thought it was 3. I didn't know there was an exact number.
It's $2,700 of damage because Court Bauer did a podcast and an interview.
And he's the one that runs MLW.
And yeah, and a lot of people are saying work. That's not a thing. Sami Callihan will show up again as some sort of like invasion type deal.
Because it's one of those like MLW having Jim Cornette was kind of...
And MLW in general is getting a lot of flack online right now because of their contracts.
Oh,
they're apparently like offering people like they're paying their wrestlers by appearance. It's like $200 per appearance, but they're requiring them to come the day before.
But they're not paying them for that.
But they're not paying them for the day before.
Yeah, it's kind of
that's some Lonnie shit. Hey, can you help me with this? I'm not going to pay you for it. I'll get you pizza. Some pizza.
But it's one of those like whenever you have MLW and you have Cornette on the table, and I will give him credit where it's due. He is a name in wrestling, and he always will be. Mm-hmm. But then you have him on a podcast talking about people that MLW has actively hired before and just shitting on them. Because like, yeah, no, we can say what we will about Sonny Kiss, but he was actively shitting on almost everybody else in that show.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people go to MLW. Like Marco's been there more than once.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he has a right to his opinion.
He can.
Well, yeah, but when you actively work for a company.
But also, it's not even that. Like for me, it's you cannot like the way that Sonny Kiss wrestles. You cannot like the way Marco wrestles. You can not like the way Joey Ryan wrestles, or Orange Cassidy, or any of those people. But he doesn't criticize just their wrestling. He gets overly unnecessarily personal.
I agree
and he
with
criticizes the human, and he can like cool, and going as far as to say they're not a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like that is insulting for the sake of being insulting.
I feel like that, and sorry to make, I want to get this thought out before I forget it, but I feel like that is it, and it's true, 100% true, and I agree with that, and that's the reason I don't listen to Jim Cornette's podcast. You would think I would, because I think Jim Cornette's a great mind in wrestling,
and he absolutely is,
and he can be entertaining,
and he has a lot of really interesting opinions.
Right.
It's just when I don't know if it's a work, like, and
well,
like,
no, that's what I was going to say. The overwhelming negativity when it comes to, especially in the reviewing sector of multimedia, it's not enough to just say. And movie critics are the same way. A lot of movie critics, it's not just enough to say, "I did not enjoy this movie. I don't think you should see it." It turns into, this person has no right to direct it. These actors have no idea. Like, it's such a personal attack. And why does it have to be that extreme? Like, what did these people do to you personally?
Right.
Like, what did they do to your family? I think Jim Cornette does it to stay relevant, and he's getting his wish.
Yep. Because his name never appeared on the call sheet, and we just spent like 15 minutes talking about him.
And my God, like, if that's the legacy you want to leave, cool.
Yeah.
That's not the legacy I would pick, but. And I'm sorry, Don. I did not mean to cut you off there. If you can remember the point, I will let you
it was going back to like what he likes to say is all these guys being play wrestlers, and it was one of those. Whenever I was listening to, it, I was like, "Oh, I'm a play wrestler because I have wrestled with both Joey Ryan and Marco Stunt." And he would call me a play wrestler. That's neat.
Some of his criticisms I agreed with, like especially on the All Elite thing when he was talking about one thing he said. In the midst of all the bullshit he said.
Is it? Yeah, I bet it's going to be the one thing that I kind of agreed with
Was
him
it the
on.
thing where he said, you're presenting all of these people and you're not telling me who they are or why I should care?
No, that I don't care about. It was the Battle Royal was really silly. Like it was.
Oh, it was. Yeah, the format of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those where it's like you're still portraying it to be like an actual like this is where wins and losses matter.
Right.
And like I was like, all right, cool. You have like the psychology of it wise, you're completely right. But you're still a dick for like.
But I mean,
he
honestly,
makes good points, and then he wraps it in comments about transvestites and stuff like that. And
why is this kid wrestling? Yeah,
and like I missed the show that we did, the Double or Nothing thing, but that was the same thing. It's like I didn't particularly like super enjoy the Battle Royal, but you can't say that wins and losses don't matter because the winner very much mattered. How you got there, yeah, you may not have thought was good or agreed with, but you can't say that wins and losses don't matter when you were talking nothing about the winner. Because like Adam Page was like one of the 4 things he genuinely liked on that show.
Yeah, he did put over.
And MJF. He loves MJF.
Well, yeah, but that's one of those.
But apparently, you know who else loves MJF?
Bret Hart.
MJF.
Society.
Oh yeah, no, MJF's.
Well, let's move on past Jim Cornette because Ace is absolutely right. Fight for the Fallen is going to be free.
On Battle Royale, on Bleacher Report Battle Royale.
But you have to pay for the Bleacher Report, right?
Yeah.
And it's like $10 a month, something like that.
Yeah, so it's
I'm gonna pay for it if it means I'm getting these shows for free.
Is this from the Tony Khan podcast with Austin?
Yes.
Okay.
Which there's some other notes to come from that here in 1 second.
Sure.
Fyter Fest is going to be free on Bleacher Report Live, then he announced that Fight for the Fallen, which is their fundraiser show, will also be free on Bleacher Report. And then I think today or yesterday they announced that you will actually, if you don't want to sign up for Bleacher Report, you will be able to watch them on Fight, but it will be $10. So it's going to be $10 either way, just either through if you want to buy it on Fight or if you want to go to the.
I might do it through Fight then. I like Fight's format more. Like their app's a lot more friendly. Mm-hmm. That Bleacher Report, it wasn't a nightmare, but I didn't like having to get a new thing.
Yeah, I mean, you were just kind of nervous about how it was going to hold up to whereas Fight's a little bit more of a.
I can trust Fight.
Yeah.
That being said, Bleacher Report is I say I'm probably gonna go through Fight just because I trust it more, but Bleacher Report was perfect for.
There was like maybe one or two little drops, but we get that watching the network here.
Yeah, so it was really good.
And then some of the other notes from this was the first podcast back for Stone Cold.
Yes.
After taking like months off. Khan was his first guest. One of the other announcements was when they go to TV, there will be a tournament to crown the first ever tag team champions.
Oh, cool.
For All Elite. They announced that there will be a women's tag team title. One of the things that he touched on is that wins and losses will matter. And then they will have they will run house shows, but nowhere near the schedule of WWE. He doesn't want people on the road, the majority of the time of the week.
Yeah, he said he wants his athletes to be able to pursue other things as well.
And there was also a thing about how there won't be an off season, but they will kind of rotate who is in the main event, who is on these shows. So, they may do one leg of shows when someone else is and someone's not on there. Like Kenny Omega may miss one leg of shows, but then Cody will miss the next leg or stuff like that.
You know what Tony Khan reminds me of? He reminds me of what I've always envisioned for like a game store or something, where you have a guy who has a ton of money and can open this store and he's not worried about money per se. Like, of course he wants to make a profit, but he has enough money and enough people that are like good working for him that he can focus on the positives and creating change, as opposed to opening something up and just going like, I need money. That's all I care about. That's what I've always wanted for like a game store or for this store, is to be able to open it and have so much money that you can just be like, let's focus on happiness and not on profit.
Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But again, it also...
So Tony Khan, I'm sorry, Dalton, but real quick, if you're listening,
we know you are.
It's in Cape
on Spotify.
If you wanna like branch out,
if you want
to make this All Elite's or game store,
All Elite Gaming.
If you want to have
AEG, where are they?
Probably too far.
What?
Moving on. Well,
but
this will be after the show.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have no problem telling you, but it's
I'll
probably...
also tell you my joke that I didn't say on the pre-show or the main show because I thought it was so offensive. Okay. And it's not offensive. It's just something we don't want to talk about, and I'll tell you later.
Okay. But the important thing to note about Tony Khan that I always bring up is everybody says, well, he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire that owns like a soccer team in England, where that is a very that is a commodity. And I've heard him in many interviews, just talk about the things that he has run statistic wise for his team to make the team better, to make the venue better, to make the fans better. The man is a certified crazy person in every great way.
He seems like if there's ever been anybody that could go toe to toe with Vince McMahon, it's Tony Khan.
Yeah. And
I don't want to put that pressure on him, but
hey, we believe in you, Tony, and we appreciate you following us on Spotify.
And we really feel like we have something to offer to your organization in All Elite Gaming.
Also, by the way, patreon.com/Podzilla1985. Yeah, it's only $1 for the pre-show, but I mean, if you want to kick that up,
you can
I have so many things that I want to do, with this network.
Well, we have the new Tony Khan, the Tony Khan level for $20 million.
Shannon will reenact any scene from CockyBoys.com.
Anything with anyone. You name it.
You can throw eggs at Dalton. You can waterboard Trevor.
And those are the $20 tiers.
You can get Allie to say a bad word. No, the waterboarding Trevor is way more than $20.
Oh, it is the $420.69.
Yeah, that's the $420.69.
Imagine what you could do for $20 million. You can literally kill any one of us.
Pick your least favorite member of the cast.
You're dead.
No questions asked.
Please be Lindsay. Please be Lindsay.
It's
Lindsay or me.
Wow.
It's Lindsay or me.
Wow.
Why would it not be like Tanner?
Nobody knows that Tanner's on the show.
Again.
Wow. I'm telling.
Weird turn.
I'm telling Lindsay.
And
too.
then the other note that came from that podcast that wasn't a AEW announcement is that Austin said that he has spoken to Jon Moxley and he will make a future appearance because he apparently
one.
that network podcast has been haunting him with how bad that went.
From what I understand, is because they went over stuff beforehand that he was not supposed to talk about.
Yes.
And Austin then talked about it anyway.
No. It was...
Or the producer gave it to Austin.
Ambrose had a conversation with... And I'm using Ambrose because that's who he was at the time.
Yeah.
Ambrose gave had a conversation with one of the producers and told him... These are at some point it was mentioned he wants to talk about wrestling. He doesn't want to get into his family stuff. He doesn't want to get into his history. He wants to just talk about wrestling. And he does not want to mention this. He specifically said, I don't want to talk about this. No one bothered to tell Steve Austin that. And so when Steve Austin is like super early in the podcast, because he wants to, usually it goes like he talks about their backstory and like gets, to build that foundation of who this is as a person to then, talk about the wrestling stuff. And he immediately went to the stuff Ambrose didn't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Ambrose just shut down because, hey, I flat out said I don't want to talk about this stuff. Well, fuck you. I'm just, all right.
Yeah, the reason that, and he said on the, not Court Bauer. Well, no, it was Court Bauer, wasn't it?
Wade Keller?
Wade Keller, thank you. Court Bauer was MLW. I'm dumb. Wade Keller, he was like, Moxley was talking, damn it. Mm-hmm. Moxley was talking about it. He was like, the only reason I didn't walk off the set is because it was Austin.
Yeah.
That's what he's like,
if it was a radio interview, I would have hung up.
Yeah.
And then he also said stuff about I wrestle the first match on one show, leave the arena, get on a plane, go to this other show, and I'm in the main event there. I'm wrestling twice a night. I'm breaking my back for this company, but I can't really call them on it. They on their network, so he was very worried about what he could and couldn't say and what he should and shouldn't say. Whereas now it's just going to be Moxley. They have since spoken. They're cool. Yeah. They're going to do this again. I am hyped for that podcast.
Although it's going to be hard to beat the Jericho one.
I mean, yeah, but it's Austin.
Well, I want to talk about Austin's podcast, but first let me tell you about this website that I went to.
Let me talk about this gimmick.
Cockyboys.com.
Don't quit plugging that website.
Allie.
There's a lot of plugging on cockyboys.com.
That brings us...
Oh, God!
That brings us to a new segment on the show with Allie called What's in a Name? Allie, you have to pick what's a better name, John Ambrose or Dean Moxley?
John Ambrose?
Those are both not great. So I'm going to say neither.
Oh. All right, that's it for the news and notes of the week. We are going to talk about a couple of big things. Let's start with Monday Night Raw. And I think the biggest thing coming out of Raw was probably the new Firefly Funhouse, because it really seems to be setting the stage for it's over. Almost.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It's done. It did you see it?
Yeah.
And you saw it, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it started out like everyone. I'm Rambling Rabbit's back. He's still alive. Good for him.
No selling everything.
No, goddamn. Yeah. You need to take some lessons from Lex Luger. There's a guy who could sell everything. Like it was a hammer hitting him in the face.
He couldn't sell a shirt.
No, he couldn't put over a shirt. No, he put over a shirt too well.
It was too tight, Billy.
Anyway. So he comes out, he does his thing, and then it gets really dark.
Quick too.
All of the puppets start chanting, was it Join Us? Mm-hmm. They start doing like a Join Us chant. Let him in. And then it turns into The Fiend. And
follow the leader.
Yeah, he's got a new tagline, but it very much looks like the Firefly Funhouse. I wouldn't be surprised if Bray Wyatt shows up next week. But the thing I hate most about it was we'll never get an explanation of why it was on Raw, why the Firefly Funhouse was aired.
I don't think we need one, though.
Michael Cole never said anything like, we got another video for Bray Wyatt, we're going to show it, we don't know what's going on.
I don't think that's necessary.
No, it's not.
If this was...
But I look too much into things.
Because it's one of those things, it's like, Bray Wyatt is a wrestler, and this is the audience that he is catering to. So now he's just doing weird stuff on his platform, because Raw is his platform.
Yeah.
Having Michael Cole say something like, we keep getting these, or these are interrupting the broadcast. Like, if it was in the middle of a match, and all of a sudden, yeah, like you do, like what the Millennium Countdown, or the
Taz's did that too.
Stuff like that, where it's just like, oh no, this is kind of like hijacking the show. We can't figure out what's going on.
Also, Michael Cole did mention it on the Up Next thing, which was just, I hated that because it was like, oh, it's so creepy. I'm like, you literally could have done it without.
This is how you Fandango in the ring.
Yeah, it's so, it was neat the first time they showed the crowd watching it, because then it's showing that, the live audience is seeing it too, and then it's transitioning into an actual show again. But, I would have liked it for the announcers to never mention it, except being like, "What was that?"
Yeah, but I think that's all just kind of comes down to a personal preference thing.
Yeah,
There be the thunder.
It's been lightning for like the last 10 minutes.
Really? Oh, I hate being on this side because I don't get to see the
see.
nature. I just get to see eighth.
Well, I mean, it's just flashing. It's just like camera flashes.
Paparazzi.
The Miz.
I don't
I'm your
know
biggest
anything else
fan.
that happened on
Follow
Raw.
you
The
till
end.
the end.
Oh wait, no. I do know that EC3 got beat up, and he put out a tweet. Did you see his tweet?
The more I make you laugh, the more it hurts my soul.
I
Something
die
like
a
that.
little bit inside. Poor EC3.
And then the next day he said, "I think this was the most liked tweet on Monday."
Yeah. There was a oh wait, that was SmackDown.
Was there a Fandango off?
No. Although he tweeted something about like coming back to wrestling soon. So
He was in NXT recently.
Was he?
Yeah,
Okay.
that might have been a spoiler. I'm sorry.
I think it actually was.
Well, I apologize.
Da-da.
Can you just put the Fandango
is-
thing over everything I just said?
Honestly, it is weird to hear like Tyler Breeze's music, like it's Tyler, and then like it doesn't go into the Fandango version.
Yeah, that is a little odd.
Other things that happened on Raw: Ricochet won the elimination 5-way match to become the number 1 contender for the U.S. Championship. They're going to it's going to be Ricochet versus Samoa Joe at Stomping Grounds. That match is either going to be the show stealer match of the weekend, or it's going to be over in like 30 seconds because Joe's just going to tap him out.
That's what I'm afraid. Or that Dominic's going to come out and beat Joe up.
Or Ricochet up.
No. Don't betray your father.
Braun
He fought Eddie for your custody.
for the custody of you. There you go. Well, one of us can show that we were in a divorced family. The Braun throwing Ricochet around was ignorantly entertaining to almost an uncomfortable point. He launched him over the top rope and like almost overthrew him to where Lashley couldn't catch him. It was silly.
The thing I hate most about Braun at this point is he's almost an ice sculpture because he's cooled off so much from where he was.
There it is.
And I feel bad about that because you talk about a guy who looks like he has all the talent in the world and all the upside, and they've slowed down his push. And he was the guy I thought they would not slow down his push. He had the rocket attached. And it's not that he's doing bad work now or that he's not important, but there's definitely a difference in where he is now versus where he was half a year ago.
And there's so much start and stop
yeah.
that Braun Strowman is now a guy.
They run the risk of Ziggling him.
Yeah, that is the main issue of him just being a guy now, because it's one of those like he was a spectacle at WrestleMania 34 that we were at, and he came out like he got a 10-year-old to team with him, and it was over.
Yeah.
Thank
He
God
can't-
that's over.
He can't do that anymore. Like
I
I don't think.
think he's. I mean, I think you could get him to that point.
You can put the rocket back on him.
Yeah.
But eventually, if they keep it this way,
It's-
it will fall.
Yeah.
It will fail.
There was a segment where AJ Styles was trying to like motivate.
Was he the wild card this week, or is he on Raw now?
Okay, so we're gonna get to that real
Okay.
quick. He is a Raw superstar, but we are gonna get to the wild card. But so he had a segment with the Good Brothers about look where you are now and what we used to be versus what you're kind of a joke now. We could try to motivate him in their match against the Usos, which they
That was
lost,
weird.
and then they actually showed AJ Styles like mad backstage. So as long as this is a thing that doesn't just like randomly get dropped, which I don't think it will, because AJ Styles has been pretty protected in his
Yeah.
WWE run so far.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see like if we finally get the genuine, club, as opposed to that, couple week run of beat up John Cena.
Or
And then the Good Brothers just kind of got dropped from that whole thing.
or he tries to motivate them, fails, they turn on him, and then it's AJ Styles plus partner, maybe Finn Balor versus the club.
SmackDown.
Wild card.
Yeah, because
there was way more than 3 on Raw.
give me a number.
Oh, you
Just
gotta say
guess.
it's wild card.
Don't try to count, just guess.
It was 6, wasn't it?
5.
8.
9.
Damn it.
I was closest.
There were
Damn it.
9
I win.
SmackDown superstars on Raw.
How?
Can you give me the names?
The 3 New Day,
Okay.
the Iconics, Roman, Bailey, and Bryan and Rowan.
If you count the tag teams
See,
as singular,
Well, so the Iconics, you can make an argument because
Tag team.
they're the tag team champion. There's only the one they have to defend on both shows, but still they are listed as SmackDown superstars.
Yeah.
And then the New Day said that they weren't part of the wild card rule. The WWE champion does what he wants, and the WWE champion brings who he wants.
So that's not wild card.
So it doesn't. So that's not a wild card rule, but it's a rule that doesn't matter because now they can just break it because who cares?
WWE is like a fish on land. They're gasping for water.
That's also not counting anybody who was in the cluster of the 24/7 title scramble, because honestly at this point I don't know who's on what roster.
Congratulations to Drake Maverick, by the way.
Yeah. He won it on...
Is he still champion? We check his Twitter.
Yeah, no, he's
as
still
far
champion.
as I know, he's still champion.
I can't believe he put his feet on the van. That was disrespectful. That was a cheating way to win the belt.
But friggin' 9 SmackDown people, like, why do you even have the brand split at this
Why do you
point?
have the brand split? Why do you have the wild card rule? Why do you keep creating things and then going back on it almost immediately?
Are Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens both Raw superstars now?
I think they're SmackDown. I don't know.
Because they were both...
No. Sammy was Raw.
Okay.
Kevin was SmackDown.
Okay, so 10.
Or at least he was SmackDown as of right after Mania because...
He feuded with Kofi.
Yeah. And that was up until 2 months ago.
Yeah, so, which, again, wild card rule, it doesn't matter. No one's on any brand anymore. But
Well, the bad part about it is that most fans will just not hold them accountable for it.
But here's
They'll just accept it. They'll swallow the tripe, and then we complain about it, but who gives a shit what we complain about?
Yeah.
But this is like... The things that they could be doing with the wild card rule would be so cool if they would just do it. Like, and it's probably one of my favorite, in the last 5 years, probably my favorite era of wrestling was John Cena's U.S. title run.
Yeah, the Open Challenge.
The Open Challenge was amazing. How good would it be if we've already had Pete Dunne come out and kill Enzo that one time, but like Undisputed Era comes in and says, I want to challenge for the SmackDown tag belts. And they can't beat, but we got to see them.
Right.
Now, granted, I just used the biggest name I could think of right now in there, and that probably wouldn't be the best idea, but like...
They would definitely have to tweak it, because 3 people is what 4 people or whatever the number is too many. Keep it to 1 person. Don't break your rule. Don't just have people say, "Oh, well, yeah, there's a rule stating how many people can show up, but hey, we're breaking
It doesn't
that."
apply to me.
Yeah, like that's just so frustrating. SmackDown, Awesome Truth reunion. That was fun. We got the Kabuki Warriors showed up for the first time, so they're going to beat the Iconics in Tokyo next week. And then as long as they beat them, then they get a championship match.
So that's definitely going to happen.
It's fine.
Yeah, they're going to beat them in Tokyo.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if you have them lose in Tokyo,
Well, you know...
the brass set.
You know the big 8-man match they're going to do in Tokyo, right? Isn't it Gallows?
I don't know.
It's Gallows, Anderson,
Of AJ Styles and
Triple H. That's the team.
Yep.
Because there's nobody else that was big in Japan that could team with them. That would... Oh, wait. Balor.
Is he on the SmackDown one?
Wild card.
I don't know.
I was going to say...
But have him do that. Like, that. Why does Triple H have to be a part of that team? Like,
You just answered your own fucking question because Triple H wants that rub.
He was in the Shield.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Roman was like... Was that whenever Roman was out?
I think so.
Yeah.
One of the times, probably.
How
That's
ridiculous
fine.
is that? Triple H is joining the club.
If he does the dive that he did with the Shield, I'll be happy.
But let's be honest. If it wasn't going to be like Triple H at this point, especially with NXT, has earned that goodwill.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. Yes, it's not ideal. Of course, it should be Balor. But
Is Almas on Raw?
no.
Thomas is on SmackDown.
Never mind.
He
Which
was on Raw
also-
and then they traded him back. Yeah.
Also, just real quick,
So sad for him.
He lost his mom last week, and now he lost his aunt like yesterday.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
top of it, her sister. So,
Oh, that's so terrible.
yeah, that's heartbreaking. And then the only other thing from SmackDown. So we got Bray Wyatt as a flat earther, and Sonya Deville says that video games will fry your brain.
Damn it! I like her too.
They were eating donuts backstage.
Damn it!
They were. I didn't even put that one together.
Do you know what their name of their show is?
Hit me with it because I know you
Demand these donuts.
said. Yeah.
Oh, I love it so much. Why would she say that about video games?
She's the next Chase exclusive for Target.
I will chase it down and cherish it because
We'll chase down 2 because I need one.
I've come to love Sonya Deville so much. Her and Mandy Rose are like my favorite. They're iconic. They're iconic.
You watch your filthy mouth.
All right, we're gonna.
Oh, hey, governor.
That's the wrong accent.
Jesus.
Dickhead.
Jump on the Bobby.
There it is.
Impact this week was pretty strong. We got a Willie Mack, which I'm terrified because I can't remember when I started talking about it last week. Did I say Willie Mack or was I saying Keith Lee?
You were saying Willie Mack.
Okay.
Because I would have corrected that.
I assumed so, but I was also very I was like, I don't know why in my head I was worried that I was saying the wrong name. And I think it's because I had just read something about Keith Lee like that next morning. I was like, wait, did I say the wrong thing?
So on Keith Lee, real quick, just random thing, but so I
Bask
was
in
off.
his glory?
What's that?
Bask in his glory?
Damn right you do.
I was off on Monday, and I was watching. It was I think it was one of those moves that made me go, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
And Bob sat down and watched it with me. And Bob used to like wrestling, but he just is sick of like the soap opera and the drama of it. He likes wrestling.
Show him Keith Lee.
He saw Keith Lee and was like, "Ooh, who is that?" And I'm like, "That's Keith Lee. That man is a cheat code." Mm-hmm. He also really likes AEW now, like already, because yeah. So good on Bob. I never thought I'd watch wrestling with Bob again. That was weird.
Go Bob. But Willie Mack and Elgin were in the main event. They're doing so. This week is the one week that I would recommend you watch all of the knockout stuff because they introduced Jessica Havoc like in an like actual match, like she had an actual match.
Not just
they didn't
up.
do a lot of the Undead Realm stuff. Like it was about championships and everyone has very clear motivations that are mostly rooted in reality.
Yes.
Like they did talk about the demon leash and stuff like that, but it was very in passing. Okay. So that was really cool. We got more of the Rascals and LAX, and it kind of seems like they might be kind of doing a turn, like an LAX turn, because they are slowly being more cocky and just disrespectful to not only Conan, but or not just the Rascals, but to Conan. I can't talk.
I knew who you were talking about.
But he starts laughing at me though.
Well, that's because
got in my head.
Don't listen to Cocky Boy. Over
But
there.
I love him.
I posted on my Facebook, "Cocky Boys sound off," and Greg Hart replied, "A word of advice: you might get more than you asked for when searching for Cocky Boys online."
Give me a second.
Just reply patreon.com/Podzilla.
Yes.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Take care
I'm
of it.
Impact was good. Impact continues to be really, really good. We got more of Jordan Grace and Kiera Hogan kind of continued their story. We're getting more of the Sami Callihan, Tessa Blanchard story.
Bob was also super impressed by Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She is awesome.
Like,
and I told her,
she is.
because he saw her and I'm like, yeah, Tessa Blanchard's amazing. Mm-hmm. And then I don't like Sami Callihan. I don't know why. I think it was maybe I've never forgiven him for the baseball bat thing. Because that was such a stupid thing.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm sorry.
I think that's most of those were some of the the majority of the major hits there. Johnny Impact and Michael Elgin kind of continued their own little side story. It's just good. Again, we're building up to Slammiversary pretty nicely, and I'm starting to get to the point where I'm actually really, really excited for that show. End of
sorry.
Impact recap as everybody's just not paying attention.
Dalton,
It's fine.
I see a friend is typing a comment, and I was wondering if it was Dalton.
Yeah,
okay.
it's me.
Then we got Stomping Grounds coming up this Sunday, which, by the way, I know Great Balls of Fire is the worst name WWE has ever had for a pay-per-view, but Stomping Grounds, I don't know why, I hate it. You have such a catalog of classic pay-per-views to go with, and you make up one called Stomping Grounds.
But Shannon, haven't you seen all the posters of various superstars just with their foot up towards the camera?
I have not. Is that real?
Yes, there's a Becky Lynch one, there's a Seth Rollins one.
Boo.
It's a thing. But I mean, overall,
It looks like a decent card.
on the one hand, there's really not a whole lot new.
Yeah.
A lot of rematches
Except
for matches
for
that really didn't matter to begin with.
Ricochet Samoa Joe's one that I'm really excited for.
That's probably that and Bayley versus Alexa are probably the only two that I'm actually excited for.
That was something I wanted to talk about on SmackDown too. Is the moment of, or I guess it was Moment of Bliss where Bayley was on that one. It is hard to imagine that segment came from the same people and the same show that did the This Is Your Life.
Yeah,
because it was legitimate. It's like, hey, you are not who you say you are. It's Alexa blaming Bayley for you were mean to me when I first showed up at NXT, and twisting the Bayley costing them the match on Monday for the tag titles with Nikki Cross. So Nikki Cross is going to be in Alexa's corner. This is actually really kind of cool. So I'm digging that build. That's the SmackDown Women's Championship. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, aka Shane McMahon's lackey. So
Drew.
He obliterated Roman obliterated Drew at WrestleMania. He has proceeded to obliterate Drew anytime it's any sort of even remotely
he put him through a table
square
on Monday.
thing. Yeah.
Well, they got to make Roman look strong
Trashed
to face
him
someone
backstage.
the caliber of Shane McMahon.
Yeah. So don't care.
That young upstart.
Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans, again another rematch that we've gotten.
I'm over it.
I'm not super into Lacey Evans in general.
I've liked her.
She's she's
I
fine,
was,
but
I was into her, but I've just lost interest.
Yeah,
they've done nothing exciting with her.
It's all been it's
the same thing.
It's been her and Becky with the same talking points, and and it's also knocking my interest in Becky Lynch a little bit, which is
because she was on fire. She was so hot you couldn't get anywhere near her, and she's still doing well, and she's still doing the man thing, but they've really cooled off on it.
And she's doing well. But that started with the WrestleMania build.
Yeah.
Going way too long. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin for the Universal Championship, another rematch from the Super Show, but this one, Baron Corbin gets to determine his, or he gets to pick the referee because it's Super Show. The referee's the one who cost him the match.
And Seth has been actively killing every person.
And Seth,
my impression of what's going to happen when that match comes on: pizza time. Dun, 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 dun.
What if it might be the main event though? I don't want to wait that long.
It could be.
It might be Roman.
Because
it will be.
Lesnar might show up and cost the.
Well, no, they didn't say that he was going to show up. So, he might actually show up.
Yeah.
If they said he was showing up, then no.
I could see this completely going that Corbin wins due to referee, and Lesnar comes out and beats him for the title. But because they're both heels, I would say that probably wouldn't happen. But Lesnar isn't even a heel.
It's more
Lesnar is Lesnar.
I think it's more likely that Rollins wins, Corbin and referee beat down Rollins. And then Lesnar tries to cash in, but then
insert something here.
Yeah, Seth Rollins outsmarts him.
Fake thing here.
Paul Heyman trips again and drops the briefcase.
If we see Lesnar, I think it's more than likely going to be after this match, which is the Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler in a steel cage match. I think that's going to be the tease of it's been so much about Lesnar going in after Rollins that people are going to be stunned when he goes after Kofi.
I think it's almost a good story of Lesnar can't get Rollins. Mm-hmm. Every time he tries to get Rollins outsmarts him.
Well, except for that time he killed him on Raw.
God damn it, Logic, get out of here.
And honestly,
who invited you?
Honestly, I think I would rather see Lesnar cash in on Kofi than see Kofi lose to Shane.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like those are the only two futures that are in our. Those are the only two branched.
But then, how are you going to feel whenever Shane beats Lesnar for the title?
He's the best in the world. Samoa Joe versus Ricochet for the U.S. Championship. Again,
that'll be a good match.
Could steal the entire show.
Stupid.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn taking on Big E and Xavier Woods
will be damn entertaining.
It'll be good. It'll be good, but it'll be meaningless because Kevin and Sami are just the put them out there. They're the putties at this point. Triple threat match. This is going to be just ignorant. So pre-show is going to be worth it for Tony Nese defending against Akira Tozawa and Drew Gulak. Yeah.
That's going to be sick. Yeah. I've come to love me some Drew Gulak.
Stop it.
What'd you say?
That's a weird sound.
Yeah, it is.
I was doing a thing. What were you saying?
No, I Drew Gulak, yeah. I like him. I like him a lot.
I like Drew Gulak. And then the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, Daniel Bryan and Rowan defending against Heavy Machinery.
That'll be a match.
Could be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like Heavy Machinery fine.
I like them before they put them on Raw and they
Yeah.
During Raw, War Machine, the Viking Raiders come out, and
we saw them for the first time in.
Yeah, they stood up against Bryan and Rowan, and
they just had that tense little stare down as they walked past for their match.
Yeah, and I was like, I need that match a whole lot.
But aren't the Viking experienced heels?
Viking Raiders.
Viking Raiders, aren't they heels?
Yes.
Are they?
Yeah. They are. They have they're doing the heel tendency stuff.
Oh.
Okay. Well, there is.
Also, he's got that awesome eat tattoo.
They photoshopped it for a phone game, where
they changed his tattoo. I don't remember what it originally says. It's like death something, but it's now it just says eat.
And the flag that the Eagles holding is different now too.
It's like a Taco Bell flag.
It might be.
Anyway, so we also have CCW this weekend, Inferno 3, and we're going to get out here and grab some food. Inferno 3 is this Saturday. As we mentioned at the beginning, they will be doing a silent auction for the family of Psycho to help cover with some of the funeral costs. This show is in his memory.
Yep.
So it's going to be a fantastic show. It was already going to be a fantastic show, but now there's definitely much more of a sentimental feel to it, which I think it's going to be a good show. First off, we got Justin the Juice Smart going up against the Nephilim Damon Salavino. Stipulation for that match is that Justin's former mentor, Dangerous Donnie Six, is going to be the special guest referee.
I got to see him again. I like him a lot.
He's a cool guy.
He's super nice.
Yeah.
This is completely out of kayfabe, so I can't say.
Did you
super nice
find
guy? I liked him.
Yeah. Just looking at it as a real thing is terrible.
I might not be there.
But true till death is what his tattoo says.
And now
it's just eat. Fucking why?
So Justin versus Damone, that'll be good. I burned Damone so good he couldn't come back to me.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, did you see my burn?
I don't think so.
He so John Massey made that picture for me, that really cool drawing, and I posted it, and Lane jumped on and said, "I'm jelly of those muscles." And Damone said something like, yeah, those muscles are jelly too, lol, or something. And I replied, well, not all of us can pick up KLD, but some of us can walk and chew gum at the same time. And he never replied. Therefore, I've won the feud.
I did that with him one time whenever he said, we could just rotate finishers on you the entire time. I was like, Damone, how are you going to rotate getting pinned? And he just had nothing to say to me.
I think secretly he might be the intellectual type. No. Dalton Anthony, you versus Heath Hatton, your mentor. A lot of mentors on this show.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Last month, Heath turned on you.
Yeah.
Now you got a reason to go after his ass.
I've worked against him twice in tag matches, and they were both very minimal experiences. So I'm pretty excited to actually get to be in the ring with.
Say this time you're going full force.
I mean,
because now he's got you mad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Making his singles debut, because he did wrestle in the tag team at the last show, Deacon Cash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Taking on the one and only Dexter Roswell, great friend of the show, incredible wrestler, great guy.
I'm excited for this one just because, like, Deacon did he had a really good showing.
He was super nice, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dexter's one of the, and I say it every show, and I mean it every show, like, he is so good and is so underrated. Like, this could be match of the night.
Yeah.
If barring the main event and the Haas fight. Like, this is an unfair show. Like, this could be show of the year. I'm easily against Super Show.
I'm genuinely excited to see, because like I've only ever seen Heath work face, so like I'm super excited to see him go the other way.
Same. It's gonna be really fun.
I mean, it'll be less fun. It's gonna be less fun for you, I'm sure. But like, no, I'm super excited to see him go heel. Like, because I genuinely think he's gonna be like really good at it. Mm-hmm. Because I'm assuming this isn't his first time doing it, which would be cool if it was, kind of. But so I'm excited for that. I'm again, like you said, like we've always just Dexter in CCW it really does kind of show how versatile it is, because with how good he is at his role over in Stride. Yeah. To see this whole different character come through at CCW,
because most of the guys, barring Dalton, because Dalton is pretty different in Cape versus Illinois. Mm-hmm. But Dexter takes that to an extreme, because most of the guys that go between the shows are very similar in character.
They have their established characters.
Billy Hills is Billy Hills. Matthias is Matthias. Mm-hmm. But Dexter like flips a switch when he comes to Illinois, Missouri. Yeah. Where are we?
From Illinois.
We're in the flood capital of the world.
Yeah, no, that's Illinois right now.
In the blink and you'll miss it, maybe, because it's going to be so fast. Not that the match is fast, but they're going to be fighting like they're Super Saiyans going at it. James Brady and Blake Christian. We've heard nothing but good things about Blake Christian. Mm-hmm. He is apparently the future of wrestling. I've never seen him live. I'm excited to see what he can do. Mm-hmm. James Brady, I've heard a lot of good things about. You got a very interesting text from him earlier talking about the
promo that he cut on the promo that he cut on Twitter, I think is where he posted it originally, where he like broke the chair over someone, was really good. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see him like here, to see him here in Cape. Words are hard, and also to like get a chance to maybe do something with him for like an interview.
And it's good to see new blood.
Yeah,
new blood's always good. In what will probably be match of the night. Well, no, this is a hard one. This is the Haas fight of all Haas fights. This is how it's being billed, and it's true. Dirty Jake Durden versus Matthias.
Just two big pieces of meat hitting each other.
I am actively campaigning to not be at ringside for this match.
No, I think you should be.
No, because I know there's no way I'm getting out of that match unscathed.
I think you should. No, Roger doesn't hit. No, I'm not going to say that. You'll be fine.
I am so excited for this match. Like, this is one that like when Jake started coming more regularly, but like Roger was out. Yeah. I was so mad at the universe,
and like
because it's like, no, these two are destined to just crack mountains.
And I couldn't say this on CCW Live, but like I tagged with Roger 2 weeks ago, and he's like super excited to be back.
Sweet.
Like he was like, it wasn't like he was just like, oh, I got to do this again. No, he was just like, all right, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. And he was super excited to get in there, and like it's gonna be one of those he's not gonna take it easy, as he probably should, just to gauge his back.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things. Like that was one of those like half real life things. Half was like you know some guys will come in and they'll work some lesser known people. They'll come in and like they'll ease their way back in, and like he's competing in Stride, but for CCW he's coming in and going after the biggest motherfucker we got.
Yeah,
just
only because Baracus isn't there.
Fair, but which also give me that match. Any combination
triple threat match. Baracus versus Durden versus Matthias.
Give me any combination.
The heavens will crumble.
Give me any combination of those three. Yes, please.
But no, like Roger being back, like he is genuinely excited.
And and that's like not even talking about like how excited I am that he can come back.
Yeah,
because we thought he was gonna have to be retired. And
whenever I got told that was my tag partner for Battle Bowl, I just had a smile from ear to ear. I was like, yes.
I love Roger's work. I'm happy he's back, and I've always agreed with all of his views. For the CCW Tag Team Championship, we got Joey O'Reilly and Brandon Barbwire taking on the Wise Church, who I didn't know this, the longest reigning tag team champions in CCW history. They've only lost once, twice, because they got DQ'd against
they have
Swoggle.
They have a DQ loss, but then they've only been pinned once.
So 2 losses in their entire CCW career.
Yep,
it's pretty damn good.
After winning the championship in their first appearance.
That match is going to be great.
That's another 2 guys I'm real excited to see again.
Oh, me too. They're so much fun. They're always. Doesn't matter what they're doing. If you go, hey, you want to do a promo or something? It's always
they are so great.
Yeah, let's go.
And they shit on Aces so much during their interviews. It's great.
They shit on everything.
Everything.
Brandon is,
everyone.
The chosen appointed is so good at stabbing at you in the heart. Oh my God, he's incredible. And then of course Joey O'Reilly and Brandon Barbwire are no slouches themselves. Incredible wrestling talent. That's going to be a great match. We got the Little Blue Dragon, Seishin, defending her women's championship against a returning Savannah Stone. That match is going to be good.
They have really, really good chemistry together, so I'm excited to see what they can do.
We saw them in that tag match when it was Sarah and Savannah,
and they've done stuff
Marty
like
and Seishin.
They've worked together in other places too that I've seen like little. I haven't seen like full matches that they've had, but like between the tag match that we got here and then like the clips and stuff I've seen on YouTube and Twitter, like they go together really, really well, and I'm stoked for that match too.
We got a grudge match, tag team, the best, Austin Lane and Hollis Giroux with Mr. 100, maybe. We'll see what I can get done. Versus Farmer Billy Hills and the bite-sized brawler Logan Stunt. That is, it goes without saying that match is going to be good because you have guys with such big personalities. Like Logan Stunt is relatively new to the game, but he's already shown a ton of heart and personality in his matches. Billy, Hollis, and Austin are 3 of the top tier talents around.
Those are pillars. Those are like.
So this match is going to be great. I look forward to just seeing those guys mix it up. That's going to be fun.
Whatever they come up with is going to be just
fun,
stupid good.
Yeah.
And Dalton knows this from experience, and I know it from experience from being there because I am part of some of the spots and finishes. But Austin Lane walking matches through with you, the dude is like. He's intricate.
Oh yeah,
like he is such a professional at it.
Because he was
your first match.
No, well in
CCW,
he was my 3rd match ever.
Yeah,
which like I've only I think I'm under 30 still, but
like under 30 age or wrestling
matches.
Okay,
both.
Good job.
But like the way he explains stuff makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and he's really good at it.
He's one of those that like. He's the best for the reason, and I've wrestled with and against Billy multiple times, and you couldn't get me to say a bad word about him. He's amazing. Hollis I've wrestled against once, and he was really, really excited to help me improve.
Yeah, and he's so young too, which is crazy. Also, you got 3 members of the Cocky Boys in this match. That's incredible. And then main event. Ladder match. No, TLC match now.
Yeah, TLC.
For the CCW Championship. Jackson Crowley against Marco Stunt. And I know you guys are thinking, Shannon, Asa, Allie, Dalton, you guys are legitimately friends with Marco Stunt. Is this really his last match at CCW? Well, I'm going to tell you now. You have to find out later. Because Marco's going to make some kind of an announcement.
I wonder if Marco... I'm going to see if he posted that
actually...
video
I just went on YouTube, too.
We may be privy to some information... But we are not going to share it because they are our friends, and we will let them say whatever they're going to say on their own platform. But for the record, Marco Stunt is our friend. You can't prove otherwise.
He doesn't have anything on his Twitter.
Yet, well, I mean, nothing on his YouTube either.
On live, we never made picks for this match.
Good.
Oh, no. I can't believe that we wouldn't have let that happen.
My money's on the fans.
Hey, excuse you. That's my line.
Sorry.
Gimmick infringement.
Make them away, toys. This match, if you needed any other reason to sell you on this show, other than how it's going to be a great show, great matches, this match should sell you. Because Marco Stunt is hot. He's blowing up. Of course, he was just in AEW not too long ago. The future is extremely bright for him. Jackson Crowley, not only one of the best performers that we have, extremely charismatic, incredible character, but also genuinely incredible guy.
Yeah.
Jackson is so nice. He's so giving. I can't think of two people that deserve the main event more than these guys, and they are going to tear it up.
You straight up punched Jackson in the face.
I punched
and he
Jackson
hugged
in the
you.
face, and as he came back through the curtain, as I almost got down on my hands and knees to beg him for forgiveness, he hugged me so close and rubbed his face against mine.
Keep your friends close, enemies closer.
I assumed he was just concussed. And he
Oh, you didn't hit him that hard. We need to have Jason tell the story about how he slapped him so hard he knocked him out one time.
We've seen this match once before with the Ashley McClure, the finals at that tournament.
Match of the year
For CCW. We got a little bit of a taste of them working together when that triple threat with the two of them and Flip Gordon.
Yep.
And like
Triple threat
ladder match.
And Austin.
Yep. So they've worked together before. These are two guys that legitimately have been friends forever. They know each other so very well. They have, and not only that, but that translates to they have amazing chemistry together. Because that doesn't always work. You could have two guys that just don't click, and they go together so well.
I don't know.
Part of me is kind of mad that I have to call the match because I just want to watch it.
Part of me is super happy that I'm not involved because I can just watch it. This is great for me.
Yeah. Both of these guys, whenever we do the trainings in Cape, they are both always there super early.
Yeah.
Marco has taken over training more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves wrestling just so, both of them, because Jackson has also helped me out immensely. Both of those guys are very intricate. There's half of the people on this roster, I could say, they are very important to me being where I'm at today.
Name the one that's not.
Literally the two that I've never seen before. 3.
You said roster, not card.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who on the roster
hasn't helped you at all?
No, they've all helped me.
Again, it was me.
Asa, yeah.
I intentionally give him bad advice.
That's what that was.
Make sure you keep your head down. Don't let the crowd see your face.
When you
cover it the entire time.
When you're calling your moves, make sure you're loud enough where the other wrestler can hear you.
Done that. Boo!
Shoutcast. Shoutcast.
I've definitely done that before.
Shinsuke now.
All right.
That was my John Cena impression. I think it was pretty great.
It was better than 2K19's.
Oh, all right. That's going to be the show for us tonight. Again, this Saturday, bell time 7:00, the AC Braze Arena here in Cape Girardeau. It's Inferno 3. It's going to be a fantastic show. We will all be there, of course, because I don't know if you keep up with CCW, but we're pretty important over there. And not to toot our own horns, but you'll definitely probably see us in one or two places.
I did not leave this comment on this post, sir.
It clearly says your name on it, so. Asa, hit us with those links.
Facebook.com/Podzilla1985, Twitter.com/Podzilla1985, Podzilla1985.com. You can go and listen to all the other episodes. We did the E3 breakdown last Tuesday.
Yep.
Go
I want to
check
believe
that out.
last night.
So go back and listen to any of the other recap shows that we've done of various pay-per-views. You can.
I want to make a quick note because I mouthed at you Spotify.
Yeah.
I do want to mention real quick about Spotify. We are on Spotify. You can find us there, but you can only find the most recent 100 episodes, which sounds like a lot, and it is, but we have a 4-year back catalog you can join. You can listen to it at Podzilla1985.com.
We also pump out 4 episodes a week.
Right.
Typically.
So that 100 is going to fill up. So if you're a new subscriber or you are transitioning to Spotify, that's great. But if you've never heard the older shows or you want to catch up on the older shows,
like the Pokemon conspiracy episode,
right? Or if you want to go back and listen to the Wild Wild West of the old Pro Wrestling Unscripted before we knew who we were,
the ones that will make sure that we never get either elected or work for WWE.
Kind of government jobs.
Yeah.
Podzilla1985.com.
Yep. Good point. There. Also, just whatever platform that you listen to podcasts or don't listen to podcasts, start a Stitcher account. Give us a.
What the hell is Stitcher?
It's a podcasting radio.
Did you know about this?
No.
Yeah.
Radio. Yeah, Stitcher FM. It's a very, very popular one. We're on it, I imagine.
That's a podcast catcher. There's no
whatever. Yeah, whatever you like. Just wherever you go, wherever you don't even go somewhere special for us. We appreciate it.
If you listen to us on Apple, go to Stitcher and just give us a like.
Exactly. Yes, because you joke, but that legitimately does help. The more
you can follow us on Spotify too.
Yeah. So, and then, but the easiest way for you to help, other than just, you just listening to this, is patreon.com/Podzilla1985. We made a lot of jokes about it, but legitimately, for $1, you get all of our pre-shows. We do one before every episode that we record. That $1 gives you access to all of the back episodes as well. And genuinely, the one we did tonight is probably one of the funniest pieces of content the podcast network has ever put out.
Yeah.
It was some of the most
welcome.
fun I've ever had. Like,
I don't think we've ever laughed so much.
Yeah.
But, oh, my God. You got to go find out why.
Yeah.
There's your hook. All right. We're out of here, guys.
There was a hook, all right.
There will... and ladder. Don't even know what that means. There will be no show tomorrow. However, we do encourage... Are they going to post this show same day, or how do they do it?
I don't know what his schedule is. I also, like...
It'll be Saturday, probably. Friday or Saturday.
But he also has... He hasn't made that announcement yet, so...
Oh, so we'll
I don't think he's been announcing special guests.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say it. Ace
Aaron,
of
go
Gray's
ahead.
going to be on the Press Start to Join show.
Yeah.
And that's exciting. He's going to be with Josh.
Yep. Alan's on vacation. So he's doing... he's bringing me on for this week. Last week, him and Mike did an E3 breakdown of their own. Theirs was much more... theirs was over an hour, but it was still briefer than ours. And then the week before that, he had his sister was on, co-hosted with it. Like, she did a really good job too. I actually just got done listening to that episode. So I'm really excited. We finally get to do something with Josh and Alan other than plug each other's shows.
Yeah, it's really cool that we're finally injecting a little bit of hot American action into that Canadian bacon.
It's Manifest Destiny.
Yeah,
We're taking over.
yeah. Finally, America's getting up. All right, that's it. No show tomorrow here on Podzilla. We are moving, so we are going to be busy all weekend. We will be back on Tuesday.
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday, yeah. We'll be back on Tuesday,
Yep.
but the show will be back on Sunday. And then I do want to tell you to tune in to next Thursday's show. If you're like, but how am I going to, I can't exist. Who is the motherfucker this week? Well, next Thursday, Motherfucker Rama. It's all the motherfuckers. We're going hard. You're not going to miss it. That's next Thursday. Until then, make sure you tune in on Sunday. Take care of yourselves, guys. Later.